Hey guys, this is Satish here, and in the today's video, I'm going to talk and analyze about the subject called indirect tax laws and practice. I know many people might not like this indirect taxation or might be direct taxation, international taxation, but there is no other option. At least you need to try to get at least a passing percentage that is 40 and the aggregate of 50 percentage just to qualify your CMA. So later you can decide whether you're interested in practicing the direct taxation, indirect taxation, or consultancy, or a business, or any other things can be planned in the future, provided you have the qualification like CMA. Yeah, perfect. So in the today's video, we're going to talk about and analyze about the subject called the indirect taxation, so which is the pattern of syllabus 2016. So which is indirect tax laws and the practice. So people might be confused. Worry, Satish sir, how do I prepare this one? So do not worry. Let's try to find out. I already mentioned to you a Pareto analysis, 80-20 analysis. We'll try to follow that and see whether it's possible for us to get at least 40-50% in this subject. Yeah. So having said that, the indirect tax has been split into two parts, which is the 80%, 20%. 80 is given to the advanced indirect tax in the practice, and the 20% is given for the tax practice and the procedures. So difficult, right? So let's try. Okay, so let's not worry too much about the assessment which is written 3 years, which everyone knows, and the objective very important to gain the expert knowledge about the indirect tax laws in force. Remember, in force, and the relevant rules and principles emerging from leading cases to provide an insight into practical aspects and apply the provisions of laws to the various situations and to understand the various external auditing requirement under the law. Got it? Perfect. So learning aim is to know the tax planning, tax management under the indirect tax laws, and case laws governing core provisions of the relevant acts, foreign trade policy related to the issues, power of various assessing authorities. So it looks very simple, but not as you think, because as you already know that many of the laws in the Indian context has been subsumed under the GST regime, right? So earlier you had uh, various indirect taxation, might be VAT, CST, or any other laws, which was very very confusing for you and me, and it was very difficult for us to give importance to one topic so that it will be easier for us to get good marks. So that was not there earlier, but at least in the new context, the direct taxation, we just have very important law, which is the Goods and Service Act, which has been bought by our Modi government in the recent time. So I'm not going to tell about a particular person, because I'm just telling what has happened to the recent tax situation. So people might be telling, sir, you're telling Modi's name in all the videos. So that is not my intention. I just wanted to mention to you guys who has bought that law, so that it becomes easier for you to understand. At least you can try to remember those things when it does actually come to the limelight. Yeah. So having said that, the skill set level required is level C, so which you already know, comprehension, evaluation, synthesis, all those things. So 50% carries for the Goods and Service Tax Act and rules, and custom laws, which is there in our earlier indirect tax regime also. So the foreign trade policy also was there previously. So 20%, 30% has been given here. So, and the 20% is very very difficult to get, guys. The reason is the case studies, because many people might be not very convincing to answer the case laws in a standardized manner. So I would like to state to you guys, at least prepare some of the case laws which institute provides in the tax amendment, which is applicable for the upcoming examination. So that way you can try to at least get at least 10 marks if you know the basic and the a few things about the case laws. Yeah. So having said that, in the GST, if you know the basic, if you know the rules, regulations of at a very, very basic level, I would like to say to you guys, getting 25 is not at all a difficult task. If you know how to do a tax planning based on the GST, I would say to you guys, getting 35 is not a difficult task. So depends, if you know the basic 25, if you know the basic plus the tax management, 35 is very easy to get in this topic. So custom laws, as already mentioned in the previous a video also, right? So government accounting standard also not so changed in a major level. Similar way, custom law also not changed in major level. But if you know the basics with a few of the baggage rules or some of the import export procedures, all those things, getting 10 marks is not at all a difficult task for you. Okay, so foreign trade policy, few people might feel difficult, so I'm just trying to take 5 marks, 5 marks, which is very a decent number if you know the basics. So provided 35 marks here, 10 marks here, 5 marks here, 40, 50, 50 and 60 marks. So 60 marks getting in the indirect taxation is not at all a difficult, provided you know the GST at the important level. Yeah. Okay, so if I set all the things, it might be not easy as you think, because I already told you guys in the intermediate indirect taxation also you should be knowing the indirect taxation, especially the GST thing very neatly. Should be knowing what is cascading effect, cascading effect of tax. Oh, it is being given twice here. So non-integration of VAT and service tax costs, double taxation, all those things if you know at the basic level, guys, trust me, it is not difficult because GST has made so simplified tax version, right? So all those things you should be knowing. So I'll be not discussing each topic. So levy of tax and time and supply of time and value of supply, input tax credit, GST registration, very important. At least you can expect in this only you can at least expect 7 marks. Easy to get, right? So tax invoice, credit invoice, debit notes, accounts of records, payment. It's also if you know at least getting 4 marks is not at all a difficult task. Returns keep changing, but you can try to remove some of the recent notification which the institute has released along with the tax department, which has released with regards to the returns. If you know these things, getting 5 marks is not at all a difficult task. So similarly, you can keep planning, guys. So I mean, since you already come to the final year also, I don't think so that you need a spoon feeding like foundation level students. So foundation level will be not so aware of all those CMA course, all those structures, so they need that spoon feeding. But you are already in professional, so you need a high level of explanation. So that's the reason I'm not going in depth. Yeah. So Goods and Service Act, the Goods and Service Tax with regards to the compensation to states. So there is a agreement between a state government and the central government that a few years the government of India will be compensated to the states if in case they're incurring loss because of the GST changes. Yeah, so that also should be understood clearly. So advanced tax concept also should be understood. So penalties, all those things should be written in paper so that you can try to do a revision and when you get time on a daily basis. Yeah, so very important topic, guys. So anti-profiteering, many companies try to misuse the GST benefits without passing the benefits to the end user. So government has made a strong rules with regards to the anti-profiteering, which is very important for you guys to know with regards to the anti-profiteering. If in case possible, you can try to mention some of the companies which try to misuse the benefits of the GST and try to quote all those examples in your examination. Yeah, so customs I already mentioned to you guys. So custom also carries a very good marks of 20%. So try to know all the basics in these things. So duties which is applicable to the international, the custom laws. Okay, so similar way, types of duties, valuation under customs, import and export procedures. As already mentioned to you guys, the import export procedure is very important. You can expect at least 7 to 10 marks question in this only, including the theory. Okay, so baggage and postal articles also you should be reading, because I expect 4 marks question every time whenever you get a question with regards to baggage and the postal articles. Yeah. Okay, so administrative and other aspects, comprehensive issues under customs, foreign trade policy, along with the tax practice and the procedures, along with the including the case studies. So this is the video for the day, guys, for the indirect tax laws and the practice for the paper 18, which is for the group 4 of the CMA course. Yeah, so follow this, try to do your analysis based on your strengths and weaknesses, pick, I already mentioned to you guys, you can try to have a 80-20 analysis. Pick the important topics which can fetch you 80% of the marks in your examination, sorry. And based on those things, if you plan well, trust me guys, do not ignore the subject, because paper 17 also, as already told, which is very very important for you to get a very good marks. Similarly, you can try to get at least a target for 70 marks in your indirect taxation. At least you will end up getting 55 to 60 marks in your indirect taxation. Yeah, perfect. And let's go to the key points as per my experience. Yeah, so key points for the GST, I mean indirect taxation is your GST. Do not worry too much. GST has simplified the indirect tax laws in the Indian context, so which is a core subject for you. Huge study material, but understand the concept and its tax implication on the government of India, states along with the company. So you need to see what are the benefits each of them getting with regards to the indirect taxation, that is the GST. Yeah, so case laws is a challenging task, but remember, case laws issued by the institute is very very important from an examination point of view. RTP, PTP, MTP, you need to refer only for the the trend purpose, because laws changing, new provisions keep coming, new laws keep coming, new changes coming to the law every day, especially with regards to the GST. But refer the question paper only for the trend purpose. Do not keep that as a base, especially when the answers do not read that answer as it is. So try to read the question with regards to the recent amendments happened in the real-time environment. Yeah, so update yourself with the latest amendment which is issued by the institute, that is ICMAI. You also can refer CA Club India or any other finance portal to get updated with regards to the tax. Yeah, so one reference book is very much suggested. 2 mock tests is suggested. Standardized approach is very very important. Tag new updates announcement before the examination. Let's say you are writing examination in December and you found some of the amendment which has happened in the month of October or November. So try to write all those amendments in the examination in the December. So similarly, if you are writing in the June, when anything happened before June also, you can write all those updates in the answer script, which impresses the examiner and which might help you to get at least a few additional marks. Yeah, so other laws in this subject required less time. So I already mentioned GST carries a very good marks. The other laws might be custom laws, foreign trade policy, or any other case laws demands lesser time when compared to the GST. Yeah, so 50 to 60 days, 65 days planner is a perfect planner for you to get the good marks in your examination. Yeah, so this is a video for the day guys for the subject that is paper 18, indirect tax laws and the practice for your CMA course. So hope you enjoyed it. In case if you have got some sort of information, share the video and hit the thumbs up button and support my initiative. And yeah, so we're going to meet in the next video and try to analyze the paper 19 of the final group, which is the cost and management audit. I will try to understand how we can get a good marks in this one. Yeah, okay, so this is Satish signing off for the review checker, and bye bye.